Time now to welcome on board another management on the show. We have with us Mr. Ramesh Kalyanaraman, the Executive Director at Kalyan Jewelers, to talk to us about the import duty, which has been increased on gold imports from 7.5% to around 12.5%. Ramesh, hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for making time and speaking with us. First off, if you can help us understand the impact of this levy, would you be able to pass on the complete rise in prices to your consumers? And what would it mean for your inventory, whether there will be gains, losses as far as that is concerned? Ramesh, can you hear us?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Please go ahead. Okay, Ramesh, I wanted to understand from you, in terms of this increase that has happened of import duty, would you be able to completely pass it on to your consumers, and what impact would it have on your inventory gain or losses?
Yeah, so we will, of course, have a one-time benefit in our inventory. There will be a gain on the portion of our existing inventory. But having said that, since we compete with unorganized players also, in almost all the markets, we might have to pass on some benefit to the customers.
Be that amount that you'll be able to pass on. 5% is the duty increase. Would you pass on 2%, 3%? Any assessment as far as that goes? And also, do you anticipate any impact on the demand on account of this increase in the prices?
So for the question of whether it will be 2, 3, or 5, it will depend upon the competitive intensity. So that is very hard for us to tell you whether it will be 2 or 3 or maybe nothing also. So that is the answer for the first question. And what was your second question? I did not get it.
The question was on the overall demand sentiment. Do you expect any sort of negative reaction to this, or given the fact this is a levy coming in from the government itself, this will be taken as par for the course when it comes to retail sentiment on demand?
Yeah, so for a customer point of view, it is only a increase in gold price, right? So we do not see any impact on the demand, as customers always come with a budget, and they adjust the size of the ornament or the weight of the ornament based on the budget they have. So for them, it is only an increase in price. So that is how the customer sees that.
Right. So I just wanted to understand, you've seen such times earlier where the duty has been hiked on import of gold. What does it do specifically to the investment demand? Because if I'm making an investment into gold, I straight away end up, losing 5%, assuming that this duty will go away someday. What happens to that?
No, so it is not the only, meaning gold price movement is not only because of duty, right? So people know that gold has been increasing. It has been an asset which has been paying back for the past many years. So only this 5% is not the, thing which customers will see. People see this as a liquid asset. People see this as an asset which is always appreciating over the past many years. So we don't see any impact on customer sentiments because of the increase in duty. So on the face of it, people might think that this shift from the unorganized to organized might come down. But please bear in mind that government's strict surveillance of the implementation of hallmarking and HUID will pave way for the level playing field for all the players, and will ensure the continued higher growth for the organized players, what we feel as an industry organized player.
Got the point, sir. So one more thing is that, you'll have to pass on this 5% increase or whatever, 2%, blended 3%, 4%, whatever hike comes in. How much time generally it takes to pass on such amount of hike or people to get adjusted to that? 2 months, 3 months, one festival season. How much time do you expect people to, think that this is the new price?
No, first of all, this first time or the one-time benefit which we have on the inventory, according to our stock turn, is in the range of 5 to 6 months, right? So all this comes in one season now, Q2 and Q3. So in between that, we will have to see how competition is behaving. We will have to see how unorganized players are giving this benefit to the customers, and it will depend around it. So of course, the whole benefit will not come, but there will be a benefit from the duty which has been increased in our existing inventory.
Sure, Ramesh, that point is taken, but how do you assess the wedding demand which would be impending from July to November is the key time when we see an uptick as far as sales for adornment is concerned as well. What kind of growth rate are you expecting on a year-on-year basis? Because last year there was a lot of pent-up demand as well. Is that plateauing now?
Yeah, so if you look at our Q1, it has been good. Akshaya Tritiya has been good, and Q1, this customer sentiments have been positive. So we expect that it should be the way this year is, and many marriages have been lined up for Q2 and Q3. Many marriages already happened in Q1. So on a whole, we are positive with this what we call the demand in, for wedding jewelry for the coming quarters.
More color. Talk to us a bit more about numbers because it otherwise becomes very broad, right? So is it like 10 to 20% growth, 20 to 30%, 5 to 10%? At least give us a ballpark understanding of how things are moving.
No, you know that we cannot give any guidance on the future quarters now. So we have our own limitations in giving a guidance. So
months gone by.
It will be very hard for me to give a guidance.
But for the months gone by, at least what's the run rate been?
Yeah, so I am not allowed to give any specific figures, which you know.
Ramesh,
but, for your this thing in a couple of days, we usually come with the Q1 update with the stock exchanges, which will be there in a couple of days from today. But as we speak today, I will not be able to give any specific figures.
Fair enough.
Sorry for that.
No, fair enough. Point taken. Ramesh, before we let you go, just wanted to understand from you what's the expansion plan now? South versus North. How's the split going to be for revenue going forward, and what kind of expansion and store addition plans you have?
So Q1, we already opened 4 new showrooms, 3 in India and 1 in Middle East. And for this full year, the plan is to open 12 to 15 own showrooms, and minimum of 6 franchisee stores is what we plan for this financial year. And franchisee, we just launched the first franchise store in Q1. We launched in Aurangabad a couple of weeks before. So that's a new arm for Kalyan when it comes for expansion, which we had never done before. And all the stores which we opened in Q4 was in non-South markets in India. Way forward also, we would like to expand more in the non-South regions because the margins are higher there and we have more area to cover in the non-South market. South, we are already there, penetrated into almost all the metros, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities here in South. So our expansion plan, the major focus will be in the non-South markets.
Got the point, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time for us. Always good to get perspective from you. Let's now go